I surprisingly feel kind of numb to what happened. I don't know. I thought I would feel more.
What is it that you would want?
My problem is I want an entirely different story. That's the main problem. So I'm one of the gamers that didn't really enjoy the game, the second one that came out. Ultimately, I felt pretty empty and I felt gross and exhausted by the story. At the end of it, I'm not satisfied with the story that we got. And I'm really curious to see if this season can somehow change my mind or prove to me that this is a satisfying story. Because right now I'm feeling kind of just like lukewarm on the whole situation, which What is up, beautiful people of Jackson? Welcome to another episode of the Most Potato Podcast. My name's Alvin.
I'm Jess.
And today we're here to discuss The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2. I think it's called Through the Valley. Through the mountains. Secret, secret, secret.
Secret tunnel.
Through the tendrils. Through the pipes.
Focus.
Sorry, I had to make light of this because obviously this is the darkest episode that we'll probably have in a while, at least this season. Well, kind of. I don't know. The most surprising, most shocking, I guess heartbreaking episode of this season. I surprisingly feel kind of numb to what happened. I don't know. I thought I would feel more, but as someone who played the games, knowing what's supposed to come next, I was really hoping that I would get really surprised with what happens. And I really felt more of the same from the game. I was like, wait, this is happening? It's happening this early?
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like I had some cushion for it, so.
Same. I do appreciate that they add a few more scenes. They remix some scenes here and there to give us like a build up to that moment. And it just still felt like something was off. So we'll jump right into it. We're talking about Joel's death, obviously. So if you're
Spoiler.
here, you're here for spoilers.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess you already told me your feelings, but I was going to ask you how you felt about Joel's death. You already described that you felt cushioned by the blow.
Yeah, I felt cushioned because I watched you play the game like a few times.
Like several times, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've seen that golf scene so many times.
Yeah, I've seen it. I know it's going to happen. I already knew. I was just kind of waiting, but I couldn't believe it. You know,
There was
couldn't believe it.
disbelief, right?
It just felt weird. It was wrong. And then, like I said in our previous episode, discussing episode 1 of the season, I wanted Ellie and Joel to have that conversation, and it wasn't there. Though Dina and Joel, they go out patrolling. To go patrolling with Joel because she didn't want to go with Jesse, but he's like, they already went out. It seems everybody in Jackson everybody's gossiping about Joel and Ellie. What's going on with Joel and Ellie?
Yeah.
So Jesse's like bringing that up, and then Ellie's just like, I would rather go patrolling with Joel than you right now. And she was just like, I know everybody's talking and worried about what's going on with us, but we're Joel and Ellie. Like, you know, we're gonna go on our little daddy-daughter patrol and all that stuff. And she's like, we're good. They're not good, but she's like, we're Joel and Ellie. That's just, it is. It's never gonna change. That's never gonna stop. So I felt like, okay, we're gonna get to the point where maybe they exchange a couple words that is the start to them reconciling. And even though I know they won't, but I just wanted that, and I didn't get that. So watching Joel die, it sucked. It still sucked, even though I knew it
sucked.
Still
as in it was a
sucked.
bad scene, badly written.
No. It wasn't that. I was really just sad for Ellie because she walks into the situation where she sees Joel bloodied, battered, basically like at death's door. And she's telling him, she's like, get up. And it looks like he's going to get up for a second. And I do feel like in that moment where he's seeing her and she's watching him, I feel like the conversation was there. It's not the way I wanted it, but I felt like the conversation was there.
Through the eyes.
And still, she's left with the regret. She's gonna be left with regret anyway, but like I felt like something, man, yeah, it was a good scene. Cushioned or not, I'm still like, you know.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the moment that Ellie was deciding to go with Joel on patrol, because that is a new thing that doesn't happen in the game. She just outright doesn't want anything to do with him. So the fact that she was making a conscious decision to go with Joel, I really thought we were going to have a scene with them together.
Yeah.
Because we saw in the previews for the season, we see a scene with Joel and Ellie like out in the woods with guns out. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be in this episode or if it's going to be like a different moment in time.
Yeah.
It looks like that's what we get because they never once interact this episode.
Yeah.
So I really like that little addition of Ellie making that conscious step going forward to try to maybe mend things with Joel. Mm-hmm. And that just gets ripped away from her when she gets to the lodge and finds his body. Like, I think that adds more context. It adds more layers to the rift in the relationship because that's not in the game at all. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it's like just a small thing, but it's subtle and it's effective. Mm-hmm. And it makes it a little bit more painful, even though I honestly felt numb during the death scene. And I really honestly don't know what would make this scene better for me, what would make me feel like really achy. Because even when I first encountered that when playing the game for the first time, I was just like, wait, really? We're doing this? We're doing this really early right now? Mm-hmm. Like, it feels off because the whole story of The Last of Us is Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes the story. And I think we mentioned that in our last episode. So it just feels like... It felt like going through the game all over again. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. I really don't know if I'm going to like this story without that dynamic.
Yeah.
But I respect and I appreciate the showrunners for sticking close to the game and being like, nope, we're going to rip away one of the main characters early this season. Like, and I don't think there's a way to avoid that either. I don't know if the show would be better if you kept Joel around longer, because then you just fundamentally change what the story is.
Yeah, you would definitely change it. What would you want them to do if they kept him around longer? Just prolong
the inevitable?
Yeah, what is it that you would want?
God. My problem is I want an entirely different story. That's the main problem, because I'm one of the gamers that didn't really enjoy the game, the second one that came out. Mm-hmm. I gained a better appreciation and respect for it the more I played it, but ultimately I felt pretty empty and I felt gross and exhausted by the story. Mm-hmm. I really felt like there should have been something more hopeful and less bleak like what we got in the game. And we won't get into any spoilers of the games because that gives away the show. But yeah, at the end of it, I'm not satisfied with the story that we got in part 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm really curious to see if this season can somehow change my mind or prove to me that this is a satisfying story. Mm-hmm. Because, again, they're going to make tweaks, they're going to make changes, additions, removing certain things. So I'm really hoping that I can enjoy this season, because right now I'm feeling kind of just like lukewarm on the whole situation, which I should not feel that because you just took away my dad. You took away my post-apocalyptic father. Like and I know that's got to be brutal for a lot of y'all who are watching, whether you played the games or not, because the acting was impeccable. Like the way Abby was torturing Joel with like blasting his kneecap or his shin and tourniqueting his leg and then just smashing a golf club on his leg.
Yeah.
I appreciate, again, the attempt of adding more to this because we don't see that much of Abby torturing Joel in the game. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How did you feel about like the moments leading up to the death? Because I noticed that the other team members seemed much more gentle. Like they were kind of freaked out when they were just like, wait, are you going to kill Dina? It's like, well, you just want to put her to sleep. That's it.
Yeah. Wait, so... in the game, is Dina and Joel together in this moment? No.
It's Joel and Tommy.
It's Joel and Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to know like what was a little bit different. Yeah, no, I didn't think that they were going to kill Dina. I didn't know what was going to happen with her, but they literally just was like, we're just going to put you to sleep over here. We're just going to kill your friend and, then we're going to go. And then we're going to leave. So I wasn't too worried about her. It sucks, though. Like, she can't really do anything. But Joel, he probably knew that he was outnumbered and there's nothing that could have been done. But once Abby started talking... and asking him questions. When's the last time you saw some fireflies? And, oh, yeah, you killed this many, soldiers and then a doctor. And then it all started to, like, he's like, she knows him or what something's going on here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, that was her dad. I don't know how Joel would have felt like if he's just like, oh, I feel bad. I just killed this kid's dad. I don't know if that is even something he would like be like, oh man, about. Maybe in his old age and having Ellie as his daughter, basically, maybe he does feel something, but she kept talking. She blew out his leg, and then she kept talking. He's just like, would you just shut up and get it over with, basically? Yeah. And I was thinking that too, because I was just like, all right, you done blew out his leg, tourniquet, and now you're still talking. Let's just do this. Because I was ready. I was like, let's just get this done. And I was like, oh my God. And then he said that. I thought it was the funniest thing ever, because I was just like, this is exactly how I'm feeling. But once I realized, I was like, okay, she's not gonna, because I don't remember everything you played in the game. But for me, not remembering everything kind of makes it feel like, oh, this is like a brand new story to me, because I don't know where all the pieces. It was brutal. And having her friends there, some of them were just like, just let's get this done and get out of here. Some of them felt like, oh, this is too much. Like that one girl that just kept crying.
Mel, yeah.
Mel, it was too much. They really were like, Abby, we're here behind you, but we are only here for Joel. We're just going to do this. But even before that, she went out to patrol and think of a plan to how they're going to find Joel. And one of the guys, I don't know what his name is. He was just like, oh, yeah, I have a plan. And they're...
Oh, Owen.
Owen. Yeah. Oh, Owen. I remember him from the game. He's just like, oh, yeah, the plan is to figure out how to get her to just stop this and go back.
Which I thought that was a crazy sentiment. I'm like, how do you plan to get... This girl dragged you out all the way out here.
This is what she's been thinking about for 5 years, right?
I would like to see what plan... This is like... What is it?
Yeah, this is all she, like, you could tell this is all she thinks about every day, all day. She dreams about it. Like, she wakes up, like, that's the first thing she does when she comes into this episode. She's waking up from a dream where she walked into the hospital where she found her dad. Yeah. So it's just, there's no talking her out of this. And then not only that, she gets lucky by happening upon Dina and Joel patrolling. And as soon as she gets back, she's like, yeah, this is Dina. And this is Joel. And I was like, oh, shit. And then they just snatch up Dina and all that unfolds. It was a good scene. I was a little worried about how it all would play out.
You asked me during the viewing or after we watched the episode if it's believable that Joel would help out somebody like Abby in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of people that were enraged with the game saying that they miswrote Joel because they were like, oh, Joel would never let his guard down. He would never help a stranger like that without his guard up. And I'm just like, you don't understand the context of the story right now. It's been 5 years of this man living a complacent, quiet life in a town where he just goes on patrols. Like, there's barely any intense action going on. And then here in this episode, they're in a bind right now. They can't go back to Jackson because it takes too long and they're going to freeze to death. And the only place that they can go to is this lodge that Abby is suggesting where her friends are staying at. Yeah. It just made the most logical sense for him to have to trust this stranger. No matter what, he's in a situation where he really has no options. Yeah. So there's nothing stupid or nothing out of character about Joel. So I'm really curious to see if there's going to be more angry comments from some of the gamers about Joel's decision. And I feel like the writers kind of wanted to address that and make sure that this was a tighter writing situation where it's just we have to give him no choice but to go to this lodge. Yeah. And I think living a life of comfort will just naturally soften you and bring your guard down. And it's like a small girl. It's yeah, she has a gun or whatever, but it's there was no reason for him to see her as a threat.
Yeah. I mean, she's running for her life against a
wall of infected.
Basically. And, if he leaves her out there, she'll die. They're on horses. They also have weapons too. Yeah. They could have took their chances and went back to Jackson, but they'd be going right into the horde of infected that was chasing them, essentially. So I mean, I don't really know what everyone's getting upset about for the game or if they would get upset about this. But as soon as he gets to the lodge, he's just like, okay, we need a plan, yada yada. He's still in I gotta get back there, I gotta do this. He still is that person, but yeah, he's probably a little bit mellowed out because of, like you said, he's just an old guy who's been patrolling and has had an easy life in the past 5 years. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I kept saying, no, Joel, no, because I knew, but it was just
we know what's coming. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that they switched positions with Tommy and Dina, where Tommy stays in the town and Dina is the one going out in patrol. Because I think they're trying to set up, just continue to develop the relationship of Dina and Joel to make this a personal quest for her as well. We're not gonna spoil what happens next, but Dina and Ellie, they're obviously going to want to go after these people.
Yeah, in the preview, she's like, I know all their names and I know where they're where they came from because she saw like a little
the
patch. And I mean, she was sleeping for most of it, but before that, she looked around for all details. And I mean, the camera zeroed in on the patch, so it's just like, okay, that's coming up somewhere. Someone knows about it.
So I like that addition because since these two are going to be on a journey, that makes it more personal for Dina.
Mm-hmm.
Which that context is kind of not there in the game. So I appreciate that. And I'm curious to see how they're going to write Tommy in this show too, because he's going to want a piece of that action too.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about that. Let's get to the infected, because that was a really fun sequence. You mentioned in the last episode that it looked like a scene from Game of Thrones. Like, if you could see what was happening with the White Walker War, this is what it would look like, nice and clear.
Just remake the season. That's all you guys gotta do. Just remake. I mean, the last one was awful. Just redo it. It was just crazy. I think it was funny because they were just like, yeah, what do we do if the infected come? And the little girls were like, we go into the forest. And I was just like, yeah.
No.
And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, we don't do that. But they had a whole plan. And then I wasn't expecting it, even though the week before they showed a preview of like all this happening. So I was like, okay, this is really gonna happen. They're gonna put this whole plan that they have to the test. Fire drill, everybody.
Probably their first one ever. I don't think they've ever
they looked shook.
Yeah,
they looked. The guy with the little binoculars, he was just like, ring the bell, and I was just like, ring the bell, everybody. Tommy, when they finally set up everybody in the basement on the roof, everybody was ready. They still were just like in disbelief, because sometimes they would just get like one or two, then they would get like a little handful, and they would just go out of the gates and deal with that. But this was not something. I mean, I feel like for the most part they did good for their first invasion, but
it's probably the best case scenario because there's still people around.
But the bloater is the one that really
the star of the show. Always the star of the show.
I'm like, y'all should have been shooting at him from like before he started punching at the wall. I feel like they waited. Tommy's just like, oh, they're gonna breach. I'm like, how about we try not to let them breach? It's like they just let it happen. And then they had like a team of flamethrowers. 3 of them left. I was so
Pieces
mad.
Of shit. Oh my god!
I was just like, yeah, if they would have. I mean, I know a lot of those like fast infected, they were like running at them, but you had like the people on the roof, people in trucks,
and flamethrower them if they're coming at you.
Yeah, just start doing that. So then when I don't know, the bloater seemed like he had some vendetta against Maria when he saw her. I was like,
yeah, because she kept shooting him in the face.
I know, but everybody was shooting everywhere. Like, you can't take it personally.
But I don't like this person in particular.
No,
I think it was low key like racial.
Maybe he was a racist white man before he turned into a bloater. But yeah, he zeroed in on her, and I was like, whoa, how's that gonna go? And then Tommy distracts the bloater away. And I was just like, do you know how to kill one of these things? Do you have a plan, sir? And he like gets himself backed into a corner, and I started freaking out. I was like, oh, are we gonna kill Tommy? Because I'm just like, it doesn't have to be exactly like the game. Like they can do different things. I was like, are they gonna kill Maria? I don't know. But it was a good scene. It was a good breach.
A good breach? That sounded nasty. I like that little Easter egg that they threw at us. Like, they always love sprinkling video game Easter eggs, but the scene where Tommy is running out of pressure for his flamethrower, he keeps blasting the bloater, and it just looks like that's it for him.
Yeah.
And then the bloater just decides to just collapse right at the last minute, just like the games. I've been in moments where I'm like, oh shit, fuck. Like, this is like all I have left is the flamethrower or like pistol like ammo or something, and you're just hoping to God that last hit is what's going to take down the monster.
Yeah.
So I really like that, because they shot it in a way where it looked like somebody was going to come out and like snipe the bloater. I thought like Maria was going to come out and like shoot him or like blow him up or something.
Did you feel like it wasn't believable that it ended this way? Like,
I thought it was believable just because I've experienced that in the game.
Okay, so I thought he was going to have an assist. It was kind of funny how all of a sudden the bloater just stopped. It looked like it was going to happen. He died. I thought Maria was going to run around the corner and just like blow its head off or something like that. But yeah, no, it was still, because I was worried. I was just like, why are you backing up? You're backing yourself into a corner. I was just like, try to maneuver around him or something. But he's good. Yeah,
there was no way they're gonna kill Tommy. Don't waste Tommy like that. Don't do that. Yeah, and this is the first time they've killed a bloater, because the last time we saw a bloater, it did not die. It was in season 1.
Oh yeah,
it ran off with the horde when
Maybe
Joel
and
and Ellie escaped.
One. He's like, I'm
want
looking
my
for
revenge.
Ellie.
So I really like that they showed for the first time they could kill something so big and so menacing, but it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you could just pop in a few bullets in or anything like that. It takes so much just to take down one of those things. I won't spoil things, but there will be other creatures that they have to deal with. I don't know if it'll happen this season, but there are new things out there that are going to be even harder to kill. So I'm excited to see that. This episode just felt like, even though it's an hour long, it didn't feel like much happened. Well, I feel like it should be a meaty episode, and it didn't feel like much of a meaty episode to me.
I felt like it was short. I don't know. It felt like it's an hour, but it felt short. A lot happened, but didn't happen. But I felt like we were prepared to know, like, okay, invasion, Joel dead. That's like the two things, and we were kind of just waiting for that to happen. I don't know if people who have like never played the game, who don't know anything about it, if they would feel the same way, or if they would just be anxious the whole time, you know, like, what's going on? Like, isn't that the girl that's trying to get Joel and all that stuff?
Yeah.
How it would feel to them. I was just like having a good time with the attack of the invasion, and then I was a little on pins and needles waiting for Joel to die.
I think it was good that they didn't do this on episode 1, because it really would have felt like out of nowhere. It wouldn't feel like enough time. So there was like some people that I saw complaining about how like episode 1 was so slow and boring and nothing happened. I'm like, I think after this episode you're gonna appreciate that episode.
I just feel like people that say that, they just want action all the time on their screens. No story, just straight hands. Like, I just, what do you, like, I don't, anyways, I'm not going to get into that one. That's, yeah.
I mean, it's not that kind of story. So if that's what you're looking for, I don't know, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just, overall, it was a good episode. It was well done. I liked it. I'm not loving what I'm seeing so far. And it's not because it's not good. It's because I'm revisiting old things that I've already seen. Everything feels more familiar. Whereas in season 1, I felt like there was more new things. There's more creativity to have, like, and freedom to have new things going on, like flashback scenes to like before the pandemic happens. I don't know if we're ever going to get shots like that in this season now.
I don't feel like you would need to have
probably not
scenes, right? Like those episodes where you get a flashback. But yeah, I don't, because we already know. Yeah. Now we're in the now. We have to live with what Joel did how many years ago, and we have like basically a whole new generation like of kids born during this time. I don't feel like there's a reason to go back. Everything's gone. We're past that. But I don't know, maybe they can do something with the flashbacks that are definitely going to come up. I feel like the regret that Ellie has not talking with Joel and making up, there's going to be probably flashbacks where she just like thinks back to like, oh, maybe if if we would have talked then, or I remember when we were patrolling, whatever. I don't feel like we need that. I feel like they're gonna do something.
This will be a tighter story.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna give us some new like content that wasn't in the game most likely, and it'll fill out nicely. Like Bill and Frank's episode, anything that was before, the whole infected. I think they'll do a good job of doing that. I'm not worried about that.
I will be very curious to see the story of Eugene, because there is, in fact, going to be an episode that shows the Eugene story.
They
of
brought
Joel
that up
Eugene.
Again, too.
When Jesse was talking about how it was a shame for Joel to put down
they like
Eugene.
Said something without saying anything, like the way they just got silent. Yeah, so I am very curious about that.
I like that they brought that scene up because it adds more context to Ellie's survival guilt. She's going to be feeling so much guilt and shame and anger about not being able to be the one to get rid of all this. And I think this Eugene story is definitely going to give us a gut punch and really put us in that mental state that Ellie is in, of feeling like I'm so fucking mad at Joel for taking away my chance at saving everybody. And I'm just really excited to see what that story is, because I feel like that's going to be especially personal to her, because I feel like it involves her. Overall, it's a good episode. I don't think it's like amazing, not super emotional, but just enough like thrilling moments. I think they let us sit with Joel and Abby for as long as possible, I think, to make it feel like, damn, this is really going to happen. Yeah. So those are all our thoughts on The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2. Let us know all your thoughts on this episode. Give us your comments, your questions, your feedback, your beef with our opinions, or just agree with us all the time, because we're perfect. We have perfect thoughts. Yes, and give us all your theories. I know what's gonna happen, but I really want to see the non-gamers theorize what's gonna happen next.
Yes.
That's always fun. So that'll do it for us. We will see you guys on the next one. Peace.